Want to pull up this screen as well. Okay.
All right. So
good evening,
off,
everyone. Yes. I'm sorry, Dr. Mans. Okay.
You're good. Okay.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. And we welcome you to the Sacred Heart Support Resources for Local LatineX Families event, sponsored by the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Opportunity for Henrico County Public Schools as part of our Cultural Heritage Series. I am Tiffany Lewis, and on behalf of the office, I want to extend gratitude to you for joining us tonight. Tonight's evening is being recorded, and
I think she may be stuck.
Chief Officer, Dr. Monica Mans, and she's going to welcome you. As you see on the screen, we also have the introduction of our speaker, and then we will hear from our guest speaker, and we'll have some question and answer time at the end, and then closing remarks as well. Also, please note that our Twitter handle is Henrico EDO, so feel free to comment and to follow us on Twitter. And Dr. Mans, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. So first off, let me say I am so excited to have Miss Lugo with us. She's programs for Sacred Heart Center in Richmond, Virginia. And so we are hoping not only to hear about what her program is doing to support our Latinx community, but also to hear about how we are going to be able to potentially partner with her in the future. And that's going to be very exciting for our school system, as well as particularly for our community at hand. So again, thank you so much for being here with us, and I'll let you take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction. Good evening to everyone. Thanks for inviting me tonight to share about Sacred Heart Center. This center has a special place in my heart, not only just as in my work life, as a staff member, but also as a Latina myself. My name is Carolina Lugo, and I am the Director of Programs for the center. But as I said, I'm also a Latina. I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, and came to the United States when I was 4 years old. So although I have not experienced, and no immigrant experience is the same, we are not a monolith. It's definitely an experience that I share with many Latinos, Latinas, Latinx people in Richmond, and so it's a special place not only for me personally, but also professionally. I've served in this role for 7 months, having previously served for 2 years in the youth programs coordinator role here. So I've had a chance to see kind of the programs on the boots on the ground level, and also now I'm in a position where I'm supervising all of the program portfolios, which are many. I think I had one little window into what we did at the center previously when I was a coordinator, and now as a director. Every day I come to work and I'm surprised and proud of the work that we do. For those of you who aren't familiar, Sacred Heart Center is a nonprofit community center whose mission is to connect Latino families with tools to thrive and flourish. And I'm just going to stop here and talk about Latino and the terms and all of that. And I will tell you just up front, there is no there is no agreement about what is the right term to use, and even within our community. So just right off the bat, we're just going to, and I know Dr. Mans has said before, we are just going to have be brave about it. We're not going to worry about the terms so much. Just lean into having that, being uncomfortable. I'm going to say Latino only because it's just a little bit easier, and it encompasses both some of our more traditional members, more of the traditional members in the community, as well as some of the more forward-thinking. So they're all good. You can't go wrong. I think the conversation has to happen about which term we use, but really, we don't know. It's basically all I got for you. So I'm just going to use Latino and just keep on having those brave conversations. So the Sacred Heart Center is dedicated to serving the low to moderate income Latino immigrant population, although we do work with Latinos from all income areas, all incomes levels, as well as non-immigrants, Latinos who were born here in the United States and born elsewhere in the world. Approximately, though, 90% of the individuals and families we work with live at or below 200% of the federal poverty guideline. So their needs are definitely at the core of our mission. Most of our community, the community that we serve, is underinsured or uninsured. And our families live across the Metro Richmond region, including the city of Richmond and the counties of Chesterfield, Henrico, and Hanover, as well as the Tri-Cities area. So we really do have a very broad reach in the region. So our mission, which is to connect Latino families with tools to thrive and flourish, is carried out through three main portfolios. And these are adult education, youth, and community hub. And previously, as I said, I was the coordinator of the youth portfolio, but I'm going to just briefly go over all three of those so you all can get an idea of kind of the scope of our work. Our adult education programs include GED, ESL, English as a second language, literacy, Latino leadership, and citizenship classes. So some of these you may be familiar with, but they're not probably not what you may see. Maybe even your schools, the county, Henrico County offers some of these programs. Some of these are very unique. The way we offer them is very unique. For example, our GED class is not a certified GED program, but rather it is a preparation course for the GED exams offered entirely in Spanish. Every semester, we typically offer 2 levels of math prep for the math 100 and 200 level exams, as well as language arts and either science or social studies. So again, it's not a place where we can help people get their GED diplomas. It's more a study and preparation course, but what's special about it is that it is offered entirely in Spanish. Our literacy program is intended for adults who did not have the opportunity to finish elementary school or had some schooling, but perhaps in an indigenous language, and who want to have basic Spanish literacy skills. So again, slightly different from what you might think of as a typical literacy program, an adult literacy program. Our Latino leadership course is offered in collaboration with the University of Richmond School of Continuing Studies and offers 3 college credits upon completion, but is very grounded in Latino, Latin American history, especially in this country. Many people, including Latinos, myself included, do not know about the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of history that we already have in this country, even before we arrive, and even more than what we sometimes learn about in our history books. So that's definitely, we focus on empowerment and knowing our history, as well as how to be advocates for ourselves and our community. I will say all of our adult education programs are very low cost or free, and do offer free transportation for certain zones south of the center. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but we do have currently 2 locations, one of which is on the south side, near south side of Richmond in the Blackwell area, 1400 Perry Street, and also a satellite location in Chesterfield County at St. Augustine Catholic Church. We hope, and I hope that maybe this is the beginning of many conversations, we hope to be offering us a Henrico Satellite in 1 to 2 years. The pandemic kind of put our goals off course as far as offering an additional satellite location, but we have been seeing the need in Henrico for many years, and we're planning before COVID hit, planning to start looking at locations that we could possibly be in Henrico. Got completely kind of put off with just really launching our Chesterfield location this fall. So hope to be offering a satellite location with all of our adult and adult education programs and community hub services in those satellite locations very soon. I will say just a little data. All of our adult education programs have been offered online since the summer of 2020. A whole lot of work went into getting our community online and in digital learning. This fall, we did have some great successes. Also, the reality is some of our communities just not there yet. And so this fall, we are offering 2 in-person GED classes and 2 English classes in person at about 50% enrollment, approximately 12 students in each class. But still, most of our GED and English classes, which comprise the bulk of our adult education portfolio, are being offered online still this fall. We'll see how this fall and early winter goes before we expand our in-person offerings. And just to give you an idea of kind of what in a normal year, we generally serve between 400 and 500 adults in our adult education classes. During the pandemic, we've been working with closer to 200, 300. This fall, we have hit 300 with the addition of our return to being in person. We did not take away any of our online classes, but did offer several of those in-person classes as well. So our youth portfolio includes programs for the children of adults taking our classes, standalone programs for middle and high school youth, a summer day camp, and a folkloric dance troupe. Pasitos Exitosos is our preschool preparation program offered to the children of adults taking our morning adult education classes. Kids of the Corazon is our after-school program offered again to children of adults taking our evening adult education classes. Both programs run concurrently with those classes and are intended to dismantle the barrier of having to secure affordable, safe childcare in order to access educational opportunities. We also offer an art program for middle school students, Casa Lapis, and 2 programs for high school students, College and Career Bound and Famigos. College and Career Bound, which for the past several years, we've had a presence at Tucker as well as Highland Springs High Schools. Shout out to our Henrico friends. This year, we are at Hermitage High School in Henrico with that program. That program focuses on college and career exploration, as well as, and probably more important, education and support for families around post-secondary opportunities. Again, all offered in Spanish, so we're helping families navigate FAFSAs and applications and all sorts of things in Spanish. Famigos, which is our second high school program, focuses on social and emotional support for Latino youth who are newcomers to the United States and currently, well, I'll go into all of our programs, middle and high school programs, are generally partnered with a local school and a specific teacher, usually within each school, to facilitate the recruitment, registration, and also family engagement process. We've seen that if we can kind of wrap around that whole process, it's better if students have a teacher in the school that can help them get to the program. It ensures that they have, or have better attendance. And also we can reach out to families. There's a nice cross communication that can happen there if we if we partner with schools and with teachers. With our art program currently, we're partnered with a Richmond City school. Our College and Career Bound program is linked with Hermitage High School this year, and Famigos is linked with the Chesterfield County School. We generally try to partner with schools that have significant percentages of Latino youth. And at the moment, we're at capacity in terms of partners, but we sincerely hope to be offering these programs to other school systems as soon as we possibly can. Cielito Lindo is our summer day camp, generally offered 4 days a week for one 5-week session over the summer, of course, although this past summer we did adjust to offering 3 2-week sessions to allow as many children as possible the opportunity to participate. Like our adult programs, all of our youth programs are either very low cost or free, and do offer free transportation from our partner schools to the center and then to the youth's home, as well as dinner. This past year, we've offered, or this past 18 months, we have offered our youth programs in all modalities, from completely online to hybrid to completely in person. So we've kind of experimented with it all, and have really, our youth programs have had great success with all three options. So we're excited about that. But this fall, we're especially excited to be offering all of our youth programs in person with 50% enrollment. So we're about 10 to 15 children or youth per program. So smaller numbers, but we're trying to be pretty cautious about coming back in person. We generally work with upwards of 200 children and youth in our programs. During the pandemic, we've been closer to 50 youth, not including our summer camp through the year. So that's kind of a snapshot of our two biggest, I guess would say, class portfolios. Our third portfolio is the Community Hub portfolio, which we work alongside other community partners who share our vision of building a stronger community. And through that Community Hub, we offer counseling for victims of domestic violence. We offer consulate services, so we actually host Central and South American consulates at our site, at our building site. We also offer classes for adults to prepare for the driving permit test, as well as health clinics and free tax preparation, and many other things that I could sit here all night, I'm pretty sure, and outline our Community Hub services. We also provide light case management for families. We're just limited by staffing, by how much of that we can provide. We also have a very I think it might be entering its third or fourth year of migrant legal services. So that is an incorporated as the community, under the Community Hub umbrella, but provides all manner of legal services for migrants. So specifically, kind of what we've done, that's kind of a snapshot of what we do, and on a typical day or in a typical year, and we have done all of those things these past 18 months, but in response to the pandemic, and thanks to many grants and generous donors, we have also been offering a food pantry for 18 months that is still operating 2 days a week, and that has provided food assistance for over 40,000 members of our community. Additionally, we've provided rent assistance to over 1,100 Latino families during the last year and a half through our emergency relief program. Both of these programs we initiated in response to the pandemic. And I do want to highlight here that both of these programs are still running, the food pantry and the emergency relief program, and are open to anyone in any county. The food pantry has no requirements other than we do have a reservation system. Families do need to call and make a reservation. They are limited to coming once a week, but other than that, we don't have any sort of requirements around income or receiving of social safety network benefits or anything like that, because as some of you may know, some of our families can't receive any of those benefits. So the emergency relief program, which is rent assistance, at some point over the past 18 months, we were also offering utility assistance, but those funds have run out, but we still have funds available for rental, mortgage assistance, as well as just hardship assistance. So if there is a family in need of rental, mortgage, or I would say precarious situation assistance, please feel free to refer them to us. We are still giving those funds out. Our community hub has also been crucial to our vaccine education and outreach effort these past 18 months, which is not anything that we have ever been involved in. We don't normally do health education and outreach. We leave that to our community partners, but we did see the need for that this year. We've been trying to reduce barriers to resources, such as vaccination sites that are scheduled and located in times and locations accessible to the Latino community, and that are staffed by bilingual, bicultural, and welcoming personnel. And our efforts have resulted in almost 1,200 members of the Latino community being vaccinated against COVID-19 here in our building. I'm actually at home right now, so I'm not pointing here in my living room, but no, in our building. And we do have another vaccine clinic coming up October 3rd. That is a Sunday, and that's one thing that we have discovered is that those Sunday clinics have been incredibly popular. We have vaccinated more than 100 people every time we've offered a Sunday morning vaccination clinic. So Sunday, October 3rd from 10:30 to 2:30, we will be offering vaccines in our building once again. And I do want to add here all of our everything, all of our classes, programs, and services are offered, are not just offered, they are provided point blank in Spanish by a staff, corps of volunteers, and a team of partners that is, I would ballpark estimate at 75 to 90% Latino. So we are one of the few organizations in the Richmond area dedicated to this population and to offering comprehensive services for Latino families and individuals that are culturally appropriate, welcoming, and that affirm all of their heritage, all of their languages. So we have identified and are well-versed, some of it, myself included, have experienced some of these, the structural and cultural barriers to opportunities. And we try to incorporate that into everything we do here at Sacred Heart Center, and want to connect our families to those tools. Sometimes they have to be offered here. We've got to offer them here because they're not available elsewhere. We worked very hard to break down those barriers for the low to moderate Latino community, low to moderate income Latino community that we serve, as I spoke earlier, such as that lack of access to childcare, transportation, language, and last but not least, that cultural affirmation. Sometimes that is the one thing that prevents many Latino individuals and families from connecting to opportunities and resources that, you know, as I said before, we have a fully bilingual, bicultural staff grounded in our own experience and deep knowledge of our cultures, and further strengthened by our constant engagement of community members in conversation and gathering of feedback, which guides everything that we do, guides all of our work. So I think because we are a part of the community, we are a trusted, safe space, an oasis in the desert, if you will. We have thousands, we work with thousands of Latinos in the Metro Richmond region. I did the calculus a little bit earlier today, and in a typical year, we work with around 11,000 Latino individuals. This past year with our COVID crisis response, we worked with upwards of 40,000. And that piece about cultural affirmation is really the core, the heart of what we do. We want families to, individuals and families to enter our doors or our online programs and feel known inside and out, and we strive very, very hard to weave that through everything that we do. Okay, now I'm going to breathe. That was the spiel. I did, I think Ms. Leslie gave me that 20 to 25 minute kind of time limit, so I tried to keep to that. It is a lot. I'm a little out of breath. I do want to just reiterate, we have the 2 locations currently, our main location at 1400 Perry Street in Blackwell, and then our satellite location in Chesterfield. But our programs are open to all. You do not have to live in either of those neighborhoods, counties, to attend or participate in any of our programs. The only limitation is sometimes the transportation, that we can't offer transportation to everyone, no matter where they live. We can only offer it in a certain zone, because that's just our capacity at the moment. But like I said earlier, we are hoping to add a Henrico Satellite within the next 2 years. So hopefully we'll be closer to your families. But for any of these classes, program services, please refer your families to us, and I can give my contact information, I think maybe in the chat or a little bit later, but I'll stop there to see if there's any questions or follow-ups. I haven't been looking at the chat, so somebody's going to have to tell me if there's questions in there.
Tiffany, are you going to facilitate the chat?
Sure, I will facilitate the chat gladly. And I also linked the Sacred Heart Center website in our chat as well for people to be able to access. Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Lugo, for just sharing that information. It's been so insightful. We do have a hand raised. Mr. Raymond, feel free to unmute.
I was wondering if you would consider a school being a partner site if we're to be after hours use, for example, or even, I don't know. I know there'd be probably some illegal agreement, but
for sure, yes. We are definitely open to that. I know that before the pandemic, we were, and specifically are you from Tucker High School? Okay. So I do think we were talking with folks from the Welcome Center there, and then I think we hosted a team of teachers and other school personnel here at the center itself. But yes, we're definitely open to talking about that for sure.
So don't let somebody else scoop us.
I was innocent. Well, Art, I'm just going to say to you, Art, I was thinking the same thing. I was saying this is such a great opportunity to take advantage of the space. Art has this amazing new space, and it's such a great opportunity for us to take advantage. So again, this is why you need to come out to our immigrant and refugee group. We're going to rename that. We're going to come up with a better name of it than the Immigrant and Refugee Partnership Group. That's currently the name. Yeah. But I think having you there and be involved will be just an amazing addition. So Art, remember this, we will not let her steal her, but there is another school that I'm thinking about as well that does need some support. I know, Art, I know, but you know, my job is the global space. But your home space can be at Tucker.
Well, we're willing to entertain all options.
Awesome. We have another question from Cara Jean O'Neill.
I was wondering if we want to alert families about the services that you offer. I'm thinking particularly about the adult services. Is directing them to the website, or what's the best way to kind of connect families with the services you offer?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think really for us, it is the phone, that sharing that phone number. We have tried and experimented with many online, I mean, and we really do use the website, the Facebook page, any way to communicate, WhatsApp, any way to communicate with families that we can. And but man, those phone calls, that's what where we get the bulk of our referrals. And I think what most families, it might be changing. I think these teenagers, they might be shifting the trend a bit. But if we're talking about adults and parents, I think they're still very much give them our phone number. And we have incredibly talented people. The person who answers our phone is actually trained in intake. So she is a receptionist, but she also has many years of experience in intake and referral procedures. So they're going to get somebody, and bilingual, of course, so they're going to get somebody at the phone who can direct them exactly where they need to go.
Can I add
Thank
on
you.
to these questions as well? Is that we have a number of families that we have a really difficult time communicating with. I would love it if your team could meet with our communications department to help us figure out how we could better do outreach in that area. Is that something that you all would be open to? And again, I'm thinking about some of these issues on a district level. Is trying to figure out how we can better reach some of our families. I think we've tried a number of different things, and I don't know if they've all been, they have not been as successful as I think any of us would have liked. So would you be open to having us reach out with our new communications person to meet with your team? Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say that's the pandemic really forced us to look at our, we can say that we're a digital society. But even for those of us who work at the center who consider ourselves very well versed, right, in the needs of our community, the amount of work that still needs to be done with digital literacy is pretty incredible. And when I see a lot of communications happening on Facebook or via texting platforms, like many of our families just cannot do that. So it's definitely against our will. We've identified that there's some gaps here in how we're, and including ourselves, how we're communicating with the community, for sure.
Awesome. So, Ms. Lugo, I have a question for you. You talked a lot about the cultural affirmation piece. I thought that was really powerful. What would you say you are most proud of about your heritage, or what would you like to share with individuals who are not a part of the Latino community, the Hispanic community, about your community? And I know you don't speak for all in your community, but what's something you would like to share with us?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that question. Yes, I love talking about that. And you're right. The Latino community is not a monolith, so it is going to be different for everybody. But we do tend to see some patterns. And one of the things that I'm most proud about my heritage is this family ties, family bonds, and that includes not just blood family. So yes, our family, our relatives are very important to us. I was raised knowing all of my aunts and uncles, all my cousins, all of grandparents on all sides, and that sense of I carried a little community with me wherever I went, was just incredible. And even though I came to the United States when I was young and was really raised in this society, that is one thing that I even still at 40 plus years, I still, sometimes I feel a little bit out of place in American society because I just don't see the family is so important in Latino culture, And we also make friends our family. We make neighbors our family. That's one of the things that we do at the center, is that like you come in those doors and you're part of our family. And you know, whether you're a staff member, a volunteer, or a student. And that is such a powerful force for me, just knowing that we do carry that community wherever we go. And if I move somewhere, I know you know, I can just like find my community center, Latino community center. Where's that? And I'm immediately, you know, open arms. I'll be welcomed there into this never-ending succession of you know, ancestors, and it's just it's absolutely warm and empowering feeling.
That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's amazing. Are there any other questions? Well, if not, oh, I see Dr. Mans. Dr. Mans, were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to thank everybody for coming out. I know that it's a late evening for everyone, and I really appreciate this information that you shared, just so everybody will know. We are going to be sharing with all of our school counselors, as well as our social workers. That's one of the reasons that we videotaped it. We also are going to ask Ms. Murdoch, who is our ESL, which is changes specialist. We're going to be asking her to send it out to our ESL teachers, our L teachers, so they have the information as well, because I think that what you share is such an imperative for so many of us to be thinking about and have that kind of tool in our toolbox to pull out to help our students. So again, thank you for this time, and we will be seeing a lot more of you in the near future.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, I look forward to next steps, next collaborations.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much to our audience. Thank you for the time that you've shared. Of course, thank you again to Ms. Lugo for all of the insights. We're so inspired by what Sacred Heart Center is doing, and we look forward to future partnerships, as Dr. Mann said. And also, we want to invite, of course, you, Ms. Lugo, as well, but we want to invite our other participants to our next event for our Hispanic Heritage Cultural Series. That's going to take place on October 6th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it is, you see the title is in Spanish. As to respect the language, I'm going to say the English version, which is Scientists Like You. Innovation depends on diversity. And so we're really going to try to focus this presentation, the October 6th presentation, to our student population, specifically those students of Hispanic or Latino heritage who are interested in going into the sciences or looking into environmental science. We will have a biologist, a student panelist, and also an HCPS teacher there. So we look forward to that. And I'm going to drop that registration link in our chat for those of you who are interested in attending that. And as soon as that shows up in the chat, we will be good to go. But thank you so much for your time, and have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Ms. Lugo, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's lots of love for you in the chat. Lots of thank yous.
Let me go in there. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I just put my phone number and email in the chat, please. That's our direct line. Feel free to contact either the direct line or email me. Love to chat further. Great.
I don't know why this is not allowing me to put the link in the chat, but that's okay. We'll send out another email.
That's good. All right.
All right. I think all of our guests, just about all of our guests, have left.
All right. I'll see you all. Good night.